In this video, we're going to take a look at PowerPoint, Chapter 4, Skill-Based Training for Office 2013 and My IT Lab. In Chapter 4, we look at things like the photo album function in PowerPoint, as well as editing pictures and video in order for them to appear just right in our presentation. We're going to go to the Insert tab, and we're going to insert a picture. We'll just click on this, and it brings up the My Documents folder, and that happens to be where our picture is located, and we'll click Insert. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to just click Remove Background, and you'll notice it gets rid of all of the background in that image. It shows up as purple, but really that's all going to disappear once we finish this step. And then we're going to drag this right center, sizing handle, and then we're going to drag this sizing handle in the bottom left. We're going to drag them down so that all of the petals will show up. Now, one thing about this particular piece in My IT Lab, it seems to have a little trouble accepting those settings. You might need to play around with it a little, but what you're aiming for is this. So if you align it exactly the way My IT Lab is expecting, you will see the background eventually disappear, and you'll move on to the next step. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the scaling of this picture. We can do that by going into the Size menu, and right here we're going to change the scale height to 50. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the positioning. We're going to go down here to the Position section. Now if you're on a laptop or something else with a fairly small resolution, Position won't show up. You're going to need to drag this down, and you'll see that Position is always right underneath the Size menu. And we're going to place this at 11.59 horizontally from the top left corner and 4.79 vertically. And you'll type it all in, and nothing seems to change until you close this, and when you do, you'll see that picture goes right down here where we want it. In this next step, we're going to go to slide 3, and we're going to select this image. You're going to notice in this particular training, there's a lot of times where My IT Lab is going to start you on a step, but you're not going to necessarily be on the right slide. You're going to need to make sure you go to the right slide to make the adjustments that are necessary. So we're going to select that image. It's outlined in its border, and we're going to change the brightness and contrast using one of the features here in the Format tab. We're going to go to Color, actually under Corrections, and we're going to be able to quickly change the brightness and contrast. Nice thing about this is it kind of gives you a preview of what that picture would look like. It's not really that easy to tell what this would ultimately look like, but we want the 4th row and the 3rd column. So this is the one we ultimately choose, and we think that one looks the best for this particular slide. And now over on slide 4, we're going to pick this picture, and we're going to change the temperature of this picture. Now the higher the temperature, the more reds you're going to see, and the cooler the temperature, the more blues you're going to see. So if you want to slightly adjust that color temperature, you can do that pretty easily here. And we're just going to go right here into Color, and we're going to go to Color Tone, and we actually want the one on the far right, the 7th column under Color Tone. And you'll notice it brings out the reds and kind of makes it a warmer look. Now we're going to also apply a picture style. We've got our picture styles right here to choose from, and we want the rotated white picture style, 3rd row, 3rd column. So it's this one right here. You don't have tooltips, so it's really nice that My IT Lab is telling us 3rd row, 3rd column for this one. On the next setting, we're going to apply that basically is going to change the look and feel of a particular picture. We're going to go back up to slide 1, and we're going to select this picture here of this couple, and we're going to apply the Texturizer Artistic Effect. So to do this, we're going to click here on the Artistic Effects under the Format. We're going to go Artistic Effects, and Texturizer is actually the 4th row, 2nd column. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a center shadow rectangle picture style. To do this, we're going to go to the picture styles, and we're going to go to the 6th column and the row. It's going to give that picture a little bit more of a style effect. And now we're going to apply a picture border, 1st row 4th column, and we're going to apply a picture effect. We want 1st row 4th column. We want the bevel picture effect. So 1st row 4th column, this one right here. On this next step, we're going to go to slide 5 and we're going to hide the background graphics. So we're going to go over here and we're going to hide the background graphics. We can do this by right clicking, and we can just choose to format the background. And one of the options is to hide the background graphics, and then we can choose a picture as our background instead. It can be a picture or a texture fill. In this case, here's a texture. But what we really want to do is we want to insert a picture that we already have. So we're going to pick File, and we're going to choose the picture in our Documents folder and say Insert. And now this picture becomes the whole background. Notice it's not just an inserted picture. You wouldn't be able to drag this away if this were actually in PowerPoint. It is the background. It's tied to it. So there is a difference there between inserting a picture that happens to be this size and actually making it your background, because it sticks to the background. And we're going to close this so that my IT Lab knows that we're finished with that step. And now we're going to crop this picture of the couple. We're going to go under Format, and we can choose Crop. And what we want to do is we want to drag the top left corner down to the 2-inch mark to the right of the 0 on the horizontal, and 2.5-inch mark above on the vertical. So we're looking to go to here and to here. So we want to drag this piece, and we want that to be right around here. And this is another one of those that we have to be a little patient, because my IT Lab doesn't always pick up on exactly the spot that we're after. You might have to play around with this one a little. Try to stay patient with this one, and when you do get it, it'll eventually click in, kind of like mine has right here. Just to kind of give you an estimate of where mine is, it looks like it's pretty much spot on, maybe just a smidge to the right of the 2-inch marker. But you might just have to try it a couple times, and it should snap in. So once we do that, to complete the crop, we'll just hit Escape, and that's going to get us out of that crop mode and back into a normal mode. And now we're going to use the document resolution and compress the image. So we can compress our pictures. This is very important if you need to transport your presentation anywhere, because what PowerPoint has built into it is the ability to compress down all of those pictures. This might really be some really high-res picture, but we want to shrink it down so it's easier to transport. It's smart enough to shrink it down to a reasonable amount. There's a couple different options in here, but it's really pretty good. So we're going to say use the document resolution, and we're going to deselect apply only to this picture. So we're actually going to completely compress other pictures as well. And I find that's really handy, especially if you need to email anything. If you're ever emailing, or even in my IT Lab, if you're submitting a fairly large grader project, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot better time by shrinking that down and compressing those pictures. On slide 6, we're going to open this hyperlink. Now to do so, we're going to right click on it, and we're going to say Open Hyperlink. And what it's going to do is it's going to take us to this imageafter.com website. But we're really not in this website. We're really still in our simulator. And we're going to choose the third picture here. Just left click on it. It makes the picture much larger, and you can take a look at it here. And we're going to right click and we're going to copy that. And then we're going to close our browser. Make sure you don't go all the way up here and close your simulator. Close your browser. And if you want to be safe, just close the two tabs. That way you're not accidentally closing out of your simulator and you're not stuck starting over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to paste this in, and we're going to choose to paste it as a picture. And that comes in here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to resize the image so the height is 6.6. Two ways you can do it. You can do this right here, 6.6, and you might need to tab off of it or click off of it so that my IT Lab has a chance to notice that you've made that change. And now we want to position that. So since we're positioning it anyway, we could have probably just gone into this size and position option and made that change here as well. But we're going to go to the position section, and we're going to position it at 0.82 horizontally. It jumps a little because my IT Lab is moving the picture and grading us on that piece. And we're going to move it to 0.42 vertically. And you'll notice it jumps over there as well. Sometimes my IT Lab makes the change when you enter text. Sometimes it's when you close the window. So just kind of understand that what we're looking for is that click in that my IT Lab has graded it. And we're going to close that dialog box over there on the right. Next one, we're going to go down to slide 7, and this one's actually pretty easy. We'll go down here, we're going to go and insert, and in this case we're going to insert a video. So we'll click on video, and this just happens to be a video that already exists on the PC. Just make sure you choose the right one. It's Fireworks, and insert it, and that's all we need to do for this step. But in the next step, we're going to start to manipulate that video a little bit, adding some style to it, trimming it, all kinds of other neat stuff. So we're going to advance the video right to the 2-second mark. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to make sure this frame is used as the poster frame of this. So when the video is not playing, this is kind of the picture that's going to be used to display what this video is all about. So we're going to go over here to Format into Video, and we're going to go to Poster Frame, and we're going to use the current frame to do that. So now when we're just looking at this video, we're actually using the picture that's still at the 2-second mark. Now we're going to add a hexagon video shape, and that is going to be this one right here. It's the first around our basic shapes 8th column, and we're going to add a shadow video effect. So under video effects, we want the shadow effect, and in this case we want the first column, second row under perspective. So it gives a little bit of a kind of an angled effect to that video. Now maybe this video is way too long, and I mean this video, not the one I'm taping, of course, and we're going to trim that down a little bit. So for this one we're going to go back to playback, and we can trim our video. And this one we want to be very, 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 very precise. So we're going to do 0.644. Exactly at that point we want that to be trimmed, and we say OK, and now the video will end at that exact time. And we're going to allow the video to start automatically, so not on click but automatically, and we're going to have it loop and play until it's stopped. So it's going to just keep looping and looping and looping until we move to the next slide. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert audio. Under the Insert tab, we'll go to Audio. It's audio on the PC. And we're going to choose the Beethoven Symphony. And we're going to start the audio file to begin playing automatically when the show starts. So we want this to play automatically. And now we're going to move this sound icon right here to the top right corner, just so it's kind of out of the way. And we're going to tell it to hide that icon during the show. That way, as we're playing this slideshow of Amy and Dan, that picture of a speaker doesn't show up. It actually will disappear. So the sound is completely in the background. You might think, why do we even need this thing? Well, the idea is that we need something to click on so that we can manipulate the sound later on. So it still gives us the ability to select audio and get these extra audio options. So it's good that it's there, but in most cases, in most presentations, you're just going to push it out of the way. So now we're going to adjust the sound settings so that the sound file plays continuously through all the slides. Now this one's a little bit tricky because your gut reaction might be to go here and just click play across all slides. My IT Lab sees that as an incorrect action. What we're actually going for here is in the Animations tab, we're going to open the Animation pane. Now, this Animation pane is actually pretty cool because it gives you the ability to manipulate when things are happening in your presentation. When things can start automatically, or what things are happening one at a time, or what things are happening all together. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to click this arrow over here, and let's see, what we're going to do for this one is we're going to select the effect options, and we want to click after, and then we want to put in 6. Now the reason we're doing this is we want it to stop playing after 6 slides. Now there's 7 slides in this slideshow, so in my mind the wording here and what my IT Lab is asking you to do is a little bit strange, because it kind of implies that it should play through all of them. But I suppose what they're after is for it to play through all the slides and then leave this fireworks to play its own thing. Maybe some audio that's part of the video. But in any case, that is the reason why the play across all slides does not solve this particular puzzle. And once you close that side pane, you'll be able to move on to the next step. We're going to go back to slide 7, and we're going to find different audio for this one. So kind of like that prior step, we really aren't playing across all slides because we want different audio to be associated with this video. So on slide 7, we're going to use the Microsoft Clip Art pane. So your gut reaction might be to go towards pictures because clip art is typically associated with pictures. But what we really want to do is we want to find some online audio. And we're going to search for fireworks. Type in fireworks and hit enter. And what we want is fireworks 2. And we'll insert that in. And we're going to tell that to play automatically. And we're going to loop this one until the presentation ends. So this time we get to use this. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need it to play concurrently with the video. This is where that animation pane really comes into play. Normally what would happen, by default, the video would play, and once you stop the video, then your audio would play. And that's usually not what we're trying to do. So what we really want to do here is we want to start this one. Actually, I don't think we even need the animation pane. What we're going to do instead is we're going to say start with the previous being the video. So we're not going to necessarily need to do this through the animation pane. We can actually use it right with the timing. And we're going to move this icon out of the way again, throw it up there in the corner, and we're going to hide it so it doesn't show up as we play our presentation under playback. So that one won't appear either. Now it's almost like we're starting a whole new assignment here, but we're still in the same training. We're going to launch PowerPoint. We're going to create a blank presentation completely from scratch. And this one's kind of cool because it shows you some capabilities of how you can really quickly make a neat slideshow of a bunch of photos. So in this case, we're going to go to Insert, and we're going to go to Photo Album, and we're going to make a new photo album. And we're going to use pictures from our disk. And we're going to select these all. You click the first one, hold down Shift, and click the last one, and it'll highlight them all. You can also do Control click to select them all. You can do Control A. Lots of ways to select all of those objects, but make sure they're all highlighted and say Insert. And you can insert them all at once. We're going to move this picture, the picture in slot number 7, all the way up, so it's the first image on the list. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to check it and then move it up. By checking it, it's part of what we're moving up. We could select a couple of things at once if we wanted and move them all up at once. But in this case, we just want this one to be number 1, and we will create the photo album. And it runs through and creates a whole photo album for us. There's no styling to it yet. We're going to work on that in the next few steps. But we already have a whole photo album created for us. So if you're simply showing a bunch of pictures, we'd already be done. We're going to go back to the Insert tab under Photo Album and edit the photo album. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Santo Domingo picture, and we're going to increase the brightness 2 times. The brightness is the sun picture with the up arrow. So we're going to increase the brightness 2 times. And actually, we were supposed to increase the contrast first, but I'm going to see if we can do it backwards. Now I'm going to increase the contrast 4 times, clicking up 4 times. So it looks like you can do it either way you want. It doesn't really make a difference. Typically, we should follow the steps verbatim. But in this case, I tried it the other way and it seemed to work. We're going to change the layout of the album for 4 pictures per page. And we can do that right here. Just tell it to do 4 pictures per page. And you'll notice up here, now all 4 of these pictures are going to exist on each slide. If you want to reorder anything, you can still reorder things. But just keep in mind that all 4 of these are on slide 1, all 4 of these are on slide 2, etc. And our captions are going to go below all the pictures. Click on that and you should be good. That gives us the ability to place captions right underneath all of these, and you can kind of see that if you look really close in your training. We're going to use a simple white frame. So our frame shape is going to be the simple frame white. And now we've got some more style to it. It makes it a little easier to see those pictures, especially against a black background. And we'll update the photo album. On slide 1, we're going to change the name here to Michelle Turner. You don't have to hit enter or anything like that. Once you type it in correctly, you'll move on to the next step. And now we're going to go back and edit that photo album again. Insert tab, photo album, edit photo album. And we're going to switch back to 1 picture per slide. Now if I choose 1 picture, it's a little different than the fit. Fit would try to blow up that picture so that it's as big as that slide is. But if it's 1 picture, it's going to be more true to the actual size of the original picture. We're going to change the frame shape again to center shadow rectangle, and we'll update the photo album. Notice they're not taking up the entire thing. They're pretty much fit right to the middle all the way down. We're going to apply the banded theme, and for this one we're going to go to Design, and we have all of our themes right here, and we want the banded theme. 3rd column, 2nd row, it's this one with the blue and all the colors. Click on that and your whole presentation is going to be updated. And we also want the orange variant. So we really want it to be this color scheme, but that style, that theme, with this variant. And then we have a simple typo here to modify. We need to change it from Downton to downtown. And kind of tough to see. You might need to blow this up a little bit. You may or may not be able to. So just try to get in there, grab a magnifying glass, make that correction, and it should accept that change, and you are all set with PowerPoint Chapter 4 Skill-Based Training.